Well, let's try this again and see what happens. I have no idea what happened. It just up and told me that you don't have access to the computer's camera anymore. So to solve this problem, we might have to just get a webcam and just bypass the camera on the computer. So let's see if we regain all of our viewers. I apologize for that. Don't understand why it did that. It's kind of odd that it just was like, oh, we're done. I don't understand why it would do that. Um, so if I didn't get to your question, you don't mind, would you please re-ask your question? Because now I don't know if we still have the viewers or going to have the same viewers that we had with us before. Um, how's the weather there? Oh, it's cold out. We got we had about an inch of snow on the ground. It's pretty windy out. I think it was probably about 20 this morning. I would say. I didn't even look at the temperature gauge to see exactly how cold it was, but it was cold. So it's supposed to be cold from here on out. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really ready for the cold weather yet, but everything else has been prepared for the cold weather except me. So we got all the tank heaters in. Mr. AR-15, how are you tonight, sir? Um, so we got all the tank heaters in, got everything winterized, so we're ready for winter. We got quite a bit of stuff to winterize, quite a bit of stuff to remember, especially with all the irrigation stuff. Some things need some different things done to them to drain them, um, but all that's done. We got that done. Just chilling, literally. Yeah, yeah. I was all this morning when we were getting the cows moved to our place. Same here in central Michigan, just more snow. I'm surprised we don't have any more snow than we have. I thought for sure I was gonna put snow blade back on my truck by now, but haven't had to do it yet. I kind of wish I would have went and got it. It's sitting out behind the shop. I kind of wish I would have got it when it was thawed out. I would have got it on the shop floor and put it on and set it on some blocks or something outside because I'm afraid the little legs it sits on, they might be froze to the ground. We'll have to find out. Might have to pop it loose with the bobcat as long as we don't tear anything up. It was one of them things that should have been put back in the shed, and it got overlooked all summer long and never got put away. I was gonna wash it off real good. It's a stainless steel blade, so it's not like it's gonna rust, but should have got it put back in the shed because like the plastic lights and stuff, I worry about them getting brittle. Blake, it was 30 here today. Worked on the governor and the 50A project. How is that tractor running now? Got my deer all ready with the new snow pusher this next week. It's supposed to be rough here in Oklahoma. Does it snow a lot in Oklahoma? I didn't think it snowed that much. Fred Crane and Railwork. Love your videos. Thank you. Hello from Ohio. Finally made it. Hello, Brandon from the Thumb, Michigan. 26, work in Jersey. I've heard Jersey's not the funnest place to work. Huh. I've never been to Oklahoma. I've never actually been, let's see, Texas area. The only place I've ever been is like Nevada, Arizona. Went through a little bit of California at one time. That was kind of interesting. Hello from Janesville. So, kind of the reason for this video tonight was I just wanted to see if I could do it on my laptop. I've never tried it before. Done it on my iPad the last time, and I wanted to see if the internet was even going to allow it tonight. So it seems like it's going to allow it because after 4 o'clock every day, it seems like HughesNet is just terrible. From Wisconsin, working on a 720 diesel transmission. I've never been in a transmission with 720. Never had to get that deep in the rear end of one. Got a 620 that needs PTO work though. Hello. Yeah, you're lucky you don't have to worry about the snow there in Georgia. I'm kind of worried about it. We got a demolition project here this week, and I'm kind of worried about that. Um, being snow and stuff, but I think it's going to thaw out a little during the day. If we don't, well, we only got an inch of snow anyways. Kind of helps for dust suppression. Running pretty good. Had the governor part previously. Fix that day. Oh, yeah. If you don't get the fork right in them, that's not good. From Canada. Well, hello. Video looks good and the sound is good. Great. Glad to hear it. I just don't understand why we lost camera last time. I'm hoping that don't do it again because it was like at 9 minutes it just said, "Hey, you're done." I'm like, "Why?" It just it just said, "You don't have permission anymore," and I could never get it back. So that's why I was thinking if it does that again, I'm just going to get a webcam and just bypass the one in the computer. So checking in from Oregon. That's a long ways away from here, Oregon. I'm your third cousin. I'm related to you because my grandpa and grandma is related to you somehow. My dad's name, last name Marsh. Oh, okay. Yeah, you are related to me. The 5020. Well, what we're going to do with it is I've talked to a lot of old timers and I've talked to some on here in the comments. And what I think I'm going to do with it, since that tractor has plenty of power, it's not a power issue, spun main bearing issue. I'm gonna check the oil pump out on it, make sure the gear's not stripped on it or anything. Might even replace the oil pump. Um, I'm also gonna make sure that all the oil passages are clear. Haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna do that yet, but I'm gonna do that. And then I think I'm gonna roll up a new set of main bearings in it and see what happens. I mean, for a set of main bearings, it's 140 some dollars for standard bearings. Figured throw them back in, run it for a while, see what it does, and maybe it'll be okay, maybe it won't, but at this point it needs overhauled anyways. So I figured, well, if I can play with it some more without doing a complete overhaul on it, tearing it all down, it's worth a shot. So I know I've known a lot of guys that have changed out rod bearings, main bearings, and never tore an engine apart. So we're going to see what we can do with it. I want to get that in this winter. I want to get the basket case John Deere A in. Blake's going to enjoy that video because I believe, yeah, he's got a 50A and I've got a 50. Is that 50 or 51? Can't remember what I got exactly. But that one I do. I need to talk to him because I want to do exactly the same overhaul that he did his to mine. So see where he got all his parts and things like that. Oh, originally from Rushville, worked for my uncle's farm in Greensburg. Love your farming videos, brings back great memories. Well, I'm glad that it brings back memories. From Ireland, you're in my homeland. Someday I want to adventure and check out Ireland. I think that'd be a really cool vacation to go over there and check the place out and see what it's like, see where my ancestors came from. Yeah, I like the John Deere A's. I like that size of tractor for some reason. The John Deere A, the 60, the 620. I'd like to find me a 630. Just seems like that size of tractor is just a fun tractor, and I don't know if it's because you get up to the 720, you got to deal with the pony motor every time you want to get on it and run it, or I guess you could make it electric start, but that takes away the nostalgia of it. Um, but I just, whenever I need a tractor quickly, it's either 620 or I go grab the old unstyled A and get it out just to move a wagon or something. Good evening from Nevada, 25 degrees here. Now, when I went out, this is a funny story. When I went out to Arizona, oh, that's been five years ago, probably now. I thought I was going to get to leave here and go somewhere warm. I left here and it was like record lows there for like the time of February. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. I thought you go out west to be warmer. The A is my favorite. I've had my 1944 for 22 years. Wow, you've had that one for a long time. Last winter, I rebuilt the pony on my R. Now, an R pony, that's a two-cylinder, right? That's what I was thinking. Let's see. Andy B. Hello from Northwest Ohio. I've been wondering if those old Gleaners are high capacity machines for their time. Seems like you move right along, have a super clean grain sample. I will say the old L2 was probably a high capacity machine for its time. Um, I know I only run a 6-row head on it, but 120 bushel corn, 150 bushel corn. I mean, you can go as fast as you want. It don't matter. It just eats it. Now you get to like 200 bushel corn. That's when you start getting quite a bit back around the return. But I've been told that you could speed up the clean grain elevator and you could clean it out faster and still run a little quicker. But the L2s, I've talked to a couple guys that said that they went from an L2 Gleaner back to like a 1460 or like a I don't know 7720 John Deere, and they felt like they went backwards after they left the Gleaner because of just the way the cab was laid out and the way the controls were. But I definitely like my Gleaners. I'm looking. I might try for next fall. I might try to upgrade. Still keep the old L2s, but I think I'm going to upgrade to something newer. Probably something with an 8-row head. We've been talking like picking up a 16-row planter, and then we could just run 2 8-rows. The problem with running a 12-row with an 8-row head is, oh, Asher just come in. So the problem with running a 8-row head with a 12-row corn planter is you've always got that in row that sometimes ends up wide or sometimes ends up narrow. It's just a pain in the butt. Let's see, where are we? My little John Deere 50 and D19 Allis-Chalmers are the two that get used more than all the others. Oh, I believe it. It's always nice to have a handy little tractor around. Yeah, everybody like Asher. I rescued him. He was a rescue dog. Got him. Let's see, how long have I had him? Maybe 5 years now, I think. He wasn't very old when I got him, but he was in a abusive relationship with a man and a woman, I guess, and they got a divorce. And I guess the man would kick him and stuff. And for the longest time, when I went to meet him at the rescue, he didn't want to come anywhere near me. So I literally sat down on the floor with him and worked with him for about an hour and a half with treats. And I finally got him to come to me, and we've been inseparable ever since. I mean, this thing's like a child to me. Um, there's a lot of times he goes with me, and he stays with my mom all day like she's a babysitter. But yep, that's my little buddy. I mean, my I'll show you how long he is. There you go. He's a fun dog. I'm gonna put him down. He needs to go see the. Needs to go find Doosan and see what she's doing. The cat, right? Go find Doosan. Go make sure she's not tearing something up. Oh, we got Pete on here. How are you doing tonight, Pete? Glad you could join. I should have texted you and told you that we were having a live, but like I said, this was totally unplanned. I just thought I'd get on here and see if anybody was around. Anybody wanted to talk? Yeah, we need to get some more wiener dog on the channel. When I get my new house built, my new shop, I'll probably let him run around the shop, so you'll probably get to see him more in videos. Yeah, I do agree that rescue dogs are the best because it seems like they appreciate you more, and I appreciate him. Doing good. Just went out for dinner with my brother and sister-in-law. Where'd you go out to eat? Just curious what the food of choice would be out there in New York. Oh, Asher's on the floor. So anybody got any good questions for me? I'll answer anything. This was going to be a live that we can talk about anything. Where did I get my mechanical skills and manufacturing skills? I picked them up from my dad. My dad was the main teacher in my life. Um, then, of course, working for my Uncle Larry on his farm, learned a lot from him. And my cousins were a little older than me, learned a lot from them. My grandpa's taught me quite a bit. My grandpa Ed, my mom's dad, taught me carpentry and masonry work. Then my grandpa Jack, that's no longer with us, he taught me some of the farming stuff. Um, Probably learned a lot more from my grandpa Ed. We spent a lot of time together growing up. I was always over there. I'd get off at school on Friday nights. Mom would take me down there all through like elementary school. I'd spend the night with him and stuff. And I'd help Grandpa. He had a handyman service for a while. I'm gonna close the door so Madison can come in the house and not make any noise. There we go. That way she can make all the noise she wants. Cut cardboard with my favorite knives, do whatever she wants. So, anyways, getting back to where I got my mechanical skills. My mom's sister married a guy, my Uncle Jamie, and he was a very good mechanic. I learned a lot from him, learned a lot about running heavy equipment from him. My Uncle Doug, my dad's brother's always been a mechanic, learned a lot from him. So basically, I've picked up a lot of my skills from the older generations. I didn't spend a lot of time with kids my age. I always tried to find somebody that was in the trades or did what I like to do. I spent a lot of time with them. We had a neighbor that was, I wouldn't call him a carpenter, I'd call him a craftsman because that man could custom build cabinets like you wouldn't believe, custom build roll top walnut desk. I learned a lot from him doing woodworking. Um, I wish I would have started this channel 10 years ago because I've done so many projects that are not on video that I wish they were. It seems like for some reason these last couple of years I've kind of slowed down compared to the things that we used to do. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot that comes back up eventually. I just think we're kind of going through this phase right now where everything's kind of fixed and everything's hanging together really well. I know we're getting a fewer newer pieces of equipment in the fleet, so we're not having to do as much maintenance, but got a lot of high hour equipment that are ticking time bombs. So, knock on wood, we don't have any major breakdowns in the next month or so. The 2388 is sitting in the shop right now. It needs an oil cooler. We've got that all tore apart, hydraulic cooler. Um, so there is things being done. I just can't film everything. Right now we got tillage work going on. Tyler's running all the tillage work for us. Um, Dad Strength and I are working in the excavating, and Dad and Scooter have been working back at the shop, getting combines cleaned up, getting them waxed, getting them ready to put back in the shed. So, but anyways, I guess with all that being said, we kind of got off topic, but I learned my mechanical skills by hanging out with the old guys. If you want to learn something, go find an old guy and hang out with him. The problem is they're a dying breed and we're starting to lose them, and there's not enough guys like me absorbing all their knowledge. Okay, we're behind in comments here. Let me catch back up. What is the most popular make of tractor in your area and which models? Oh, our area, let's see. Case and John Deere are probably the top dogs in our area. Um, all models, there's quite a few different models. Kind of a lot of front wheel assist tractors. Not, I would say we probably have the most articulated in our area. A lot of them are two-wheel drive to or front wheel assist. I do have a friend that's got two big New Hollands, one on tracks and one on rubber, are taking more Case IH. But there are starting to be some other brands that pop up. I know of a couple Versatiles, but mainly John Deere and Case. I know of, well, I shouldn't say I know of a couple Agcos. There's a couple Agcos running around. Oh, where are we here? Oh, Italian restaurant, of course. I should have known. I felt that way with every rescue we've had. Don't stop too fast or they run into you. Yep. Let's see, with all the acres you farm with the S69, no, I'm not going to buy a new deer like that. No, I have no desire to own a deer combine, honestly. Are you planting Indian corn next year? Yes, I want to. My sister's actually been talking about going a different direction with the flower farm. And if she does, that's going to give me some more space in that area to plant some more Indian corn. And what I'm going to do is actually plant it with the corn planter so I can treat it just like the field corn, putting anhydrous on it and everything like that, and manage it a little better than what I did. Um, so my sister's talking about uh, changing things up. She might do you pick vegetables instead of the flowers. So I mean, we've got the bed layer. We can put the poly drip tube irrigation in. So I mean, it's not too big of a transition. She has all of her grow lights at home in her basement, so she can get them started early in the spring, and then we can transfer them out and plant them outside. Yes, diesel mechanics are the best to hang out with. Let's see. Hello from the thumb of Michigan. Do you have your sprayer ready for next year? Oh, that's one of those questions that's the $1,000,000 question. So the sprayer, the Wilmar, a lot of you remember, got it, fixed a lot of things on it. I took it out and realized the rate wouldn't change. Well, the rate controller, the top was cracked, filled up with water from sitting outside, and ruined the rate controller. Probably happened 2 or 3 years ago. Tried to get one of the rate controllers ordered, still waiting on it. So hopefully by next spring it's in our possession. We can put the new rate controller on it. I might have to go to something different. Might have to put T-Jet or something on it because I don't want to wait. I want to be able to spray with it next spring. So that's kind of up in the air. That valve should have been here by now, or rate controller, and I don't know where it's at. Oh, you want to hear about my new hydraulic thumb? Well, that is just loaner thumb. Um, that is not actually going to be the hydraulic thumb that is going to be on the 220. That one, I've got a special project coming up, and I needed a hydraulic thumb. I wanted to use the 220 on it, so Harding's made it happen. They actually, that's all Fleco had in stock that they could get quick enough for me to use it this week. So that one is actually going to be taken off and probably either an AMI or a work brow, just like Dirt Perfect's thumb. Uh, Dirt Perfect has a work brow progressive link. That's what I want to put on this machine because the idea of the progressive link is when the bucket's all the way uncurled, the thumb will follow it all the way. With that thumb that's on it now, you can only bring it down so far and it stops and the bucket keeps on going. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to run a rake instead of a bucket, and that'll kind of give me my grapples basically back instead of running a bucket for clearing brush. Okay, I understand that upbringing grew up riding with grandfather on the fender of the D6D around a Cat 225 and running around the shop. That is one dozer that I'd like to find is a D6D. I've always liked them for some reason. I'd like to own one. But I've run a 225 for a little bit. Thanks. I'm one of the old guys. Well, thank you for teaching us young guys if you teach any young guys. Find a gray beard and pay attention. That's a good way to look at it. Find that old grumpy guy in a shop somewhere. Usually that's the guy that knows everything. Samson Farms. Good evening. Lots of great stories at the tractor shows from the old fellers. Sad to know all that knowledge is disappearing. Yeah, when we took the tractors down to the Power from the Past, there's just so much knowledge there. guys will walk up, start telling you certain things that you didn't know about some stuff on tractors. It's amazing the things you learn. Oh, Madison must be watching from the living room. She was quiet as she could have been. I just shut the door so you could be loud if you wanted to. Oh, we passed one up. You're so right about the old guys. I learned from my grandpa, a machinist and a welded and farmer. My dad was a great hot rod builder. Oh, well, you have a good night too. Good luck on the generator. Turning in from GA, from Georgia. Any new crops in the future? Maybe some hay. I'm thinking some hay. We've got some farm ground that we farm here in town at my grandma's, and she's got a severe geese issue. The geese just eat anything that's either soybeans or corn. They eat it off. And since they're in city limits, you can't really shoot them to get rid of them. We could get a permit to get rid of them, but so what we're going to do is we're going to plant all that to hay, and then we'll bale that. I was going to. I had some leads on a couple hay balers that needed a lot of work, but them since sold, so I might just buy something that doesn't need work. I can't buy everything that needs work because I'll be constantly working on something. Hunting and stuff. How's it going now? It's going pretty good. Look forward to the next project. We had an AMI thumb that worked great. AMI seems like they make a very good product. I like their clearing rakes. What I'm gonna do is it's not set in stone what we're doing with the 220 yet as far as purchasing it, but as soon as we do set something in stone, I am going to have Madison help me reach out to like Workbrow, AMI, and see what we can do. If I can get a deal with them to do a little stuff on social media with them, and see if I can get some attachments to try from them. I was going to reach out to them because with the 220, being it's a heavier machine. Now, this has been the argument all along between the 210 and 220 is it's going to be a little heavier. For what we do, heavier is better because I would like to see either a 8-foot ditch bucket or a 9-foot ditch bucket on that machine. And with a 9-footer or 8-footer or 9-footer, it's going to need that little extra ass to it. So the extra weight doesn't bother me at all. So I would like to run a big bucket on it. And what I'm going to do is we all know that my ditch bucket from the 200 does not work on the 220. We're just going to leave that alone, and we're going to get it its own attachments so then two machines aren't fighting over attachments, because there's going to be a time and place when one's going to need a ditch bucket and the other one's going to need a ditch bucket, and we're not going to be fighting over them. So I might as well get them all their own attachments. Big Al, hello from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Let's see, beginner stuff for tractors. Well, what do you mean? Like, what could you do to get started? I mean, I got my start with garden tractors. The small ones like John Deere 110 round fender, John Deere 112. Start with them or some of the wheel horses. The old guys bought very little. They made what they needed. And you know what? For the longest time, we bought very little and made what we needed. But it got to the point where, and this is back when I should have been doing YouTube, was back when we did all that. But it got to the point where we were spending a lot of time building stuff when we could have just ordered that attachment and, while we were waiting on it, go do something else and make some money. I've made a couple different rakes for dozers and things like that. I made a rake for the hoe. We made our own stick and things like that. So we kind of, I don't know, we've cut back on what we build, but I feel like I'm going to start building some more stuff. I want to get me a newer Lincoln welder. Our Lincoln welder we got now. That was another thing. I was going to try to reach out to Lincoln and see if maybe we could do something um, with YouTube and get a newer welder. Because if I got a newer welder, I would probably start building a lot more attachments. But I want something I can run an 045 wire with, fill a little faster, and actually heavier MIG gun, things like that. Um, and our welder is, whew, we got it back when I was in middle school, so it's done a lot of welding. So it's time for an upgrade. Uh, let's see, how did your buddy make out with his combine burning? Sorry to see that happen. The last I knew, Josh was looking for another 9600. I had him talked into a John Deere 9650 possibly, if he could find one for the right money. He was thinking about just upgrading. What we're trying to do is find him a 9600 that has just the big wide drive tires, the 30.5 32s like I have on L2 number one. And if he can do that, I'm going to buy those drive tires from the 9600 and put them on the L2 on tracks. So when I take it off of tracks, it'll have the same size drive tires as L2 number one. Um, because I do plan on taking that back off the tracks to use it some. Um, so we were thinking if he could find that, I'd buy them, and then we'll put his straddle duals off his burnt combine back on his new combine. And there's a few other things we're going to switch, like his turbo tube and stuff like that. So he did find one on Facebook Marketplace. By the time he inquired about it, it was already sold and gone. And that would have killed two birds with one stone because they had the 6-row corn head that his uncle wanted, and they had the drive tires that I wanted. So could have made out pretty good on that one. Oh, Madison, I brought cookies home for you. Are they the ones your sister made for me? I know your sister just loves making me cookies. What's the most interesting thing you have found in the bottom of a ditch? My dad found a mastodon in Crooked Creek in '59. I've got one of its molars in the fridge in a can. Oh, the most interesting thing I found, I don't know. I've found a few spear points in mud before. Not out of a ditch, just found them moving some dirt around. Um, can't really say I found anything super interesting. I found a safe one time, but there was nothing in it. Just, I don't know. A few bowling balls, just random stuff. I wouldn't say interesting stuff, a lot of random stuff, but nothing super interesting. I haven't found a mastodon bone yet. I mean, I'd hate to find one because then you tell them that you found one, they want to go do an archaeological dig, and then you're done digging for a while because they want to come in and dig. How do I like the new printer? Well, I'm going to make a video about that this coming week. I'm kind of like, I'm a week behind in videos on it. So this last video that aired this morning, that one was from last Sunday. So this next one will be next Sunday. It's been a learning curve. I've had a lot of screw ups, so I recommend when you buy one, buy a couple bottles of resin because you're going to mess up. I've learned a lot of things about it, such as putting supports. I learned that if you cure it too long in a curing machine, that it makes it very brittle, and the plastic just explodes when you try to clip it with side cuts to clean off any of the support structures and things like that. So definitely, I got a lot to learn yet. But I do like how it works. It makes some really cool stuff. Here's a Model E John Deere hit and miss engine. I don't have all the supports and the raft cut off of it yet, but this is the detail that it prints at. I mean, look at that. I mean, you got your muffler, you got your coil up here, or magneto here. It even creates a hole through it for the shaft or crankshaft, basically, and then you got your little top hole in the top for your water. So it does a good job. It's just, as you can see, if you cure it too long, it gets so brittle. So I've actually printed several of them as test prints, and I've only got one small one that I made. It's about this big that has been a success so far. It's a learning curve. So, and I knew that going from a filament printer to this new resin printer, I'm learning. Really enjoy your videos. I'm from Tennessee. Well, thank you for watching. I got to go eat some Chinese. Well, eat some Chinese for me while you're at it. Shout out to those firefighters who extinguished the combine. Yes, they did a very good job of getting that put out and saving that corn head. Thank you. Um, so the printer also, if you're going to buy one, make sure you buy a bunch of rubbing alcohol. You're going to need like 90% rubbing alcohol to clean the prints with. That resin is really slimy and nasty. I'm almost thinking maybe brake cleaner would be the way to go with it, but I don't think you can use brake cleaner. But I'm going to touch on a lot of things that I've learned when I make the video on it, because there are several things. Like, I never imagined that WD-40 dry lube would be a product that you would need with a resin 3D printer. So never imagined that. That was interesting. Any big projects planned for this winter, like Dirty Peter? Oh man, Tyler's been around and he has been nagging on me to get that Dirty Peter put back together. Um, kind of been holding off on it for the simple fact that we've thought about going a different direction with it, and we're thinking about putting uh, a bigger engine in it, like a 400 Cummins or a 3406 B model Cat with 13 speed behind it, and actually putting it on a hopper bottom, and maybe even cutting it off behind the cab and rolling a Peterbilt air ride up behind it, air leaf suspension, and putting that truck on air. Um, because with the price of the used semi tractors now, kind of got to utilize what you got. Because a good 379 Pete anymore, you're looking at 65,000 plus for a decent truck. I mean, they just went nuts because of the emission stuff. So everybody's wanting the older long hood Pete's. So Dirty Peter is still on the books. Haven't given up on that project yet, so we'll see what happens. Just got to find the right engine and transmission combination to throw back in it. Or it might just go back the direction I was going to go with it, put the dump bed on it, put the 3306 back in it, and run it. We'll see what happens. We got time yet. I don't even have the trommel up and running to wash any stone with. So, and I'm afraid all that stuff's going to have to wait until I get my new house and shop built over by my gravel pit, so that I can spend more time over there and get the trommel finished up and get washing stone again. Hi, I'm from Pennsylvania. When are you having the next plow day? Are you keeping the 270? Next plow day has not been figured up yet. Uh, like I said before, my buddy Jeff and I will get together, kind of figure out what we're doing. There'll also be the Journey's plow day. I don't believe Ed has talked about dates yet for that. Usually we figure out all that over the winter time when we have some time. So as soon as I know something, I will try to get it put on like a community post, maybe here on YouTube, or we'll talk about it in another live video. And plenty of time for anybody that wants to come, they can make arrangements to come. The 270, it's going to stay around. The 200 is going to stay around also. We don't plan on getting rid of any excavators. We're just going to upgrade to a newer one. The 200 will probably be on mower duty a lot more than what it is. That way I can leave the mower set up on it. I don't have to mess around taking it on and off. The 270, we've been talking about maybe putting a long reach on the 270 and buying an equivalent size machine to do all the general purpose work with. We're going to see how this 220 works out, and we've been kind of kicking around the idea of possibly a 260 Hyundai. So, but we want to run the 220 for a while and see what it's like. Oh, the plan for the 5020, we went through this earlier, but I'll go through this again. It's going to come back in the shop this winter. We talked about rolling up a set of new main bearings and possibly rod bearings in it. See if we can figure out why they starved for oil. Maybe if there's a plugged oil passage, we'll clean it out. Check the oil pump, make sure it's pumping plenty of oil, and see what it does. I mean, for $140, I can get a set of main bearings, throw it back together, play with it for a while, keep an eye on the oil pressure. And who knows? A lot of old timers told me it might be perfectly fine. So, see what happens. What am I out? At this point, it needs major overhaul, anyways. But as far as like being compression wise, it seems like it's got the compression's fine on it. So, I don't see a reason to tear it completely down right now. Let's just see if we can patch it up and play with it some more. How's it going, brother? It's going real good. Do not use brake cleaner on the printer. I was just joking. So there's a lot of things, about that printer that I've learned. What is one tractor you don't have and want? Oh boy. I would like to have what would it be? A 1010? No. Whatever the last agricultural crawler tractor was, I think it was a 20 series John Deere. I'd like to have one of them on tracks. What would that be? 20? No, I don't remember what number it was now. For some reason, my mind went blank. But whatever that is, it'd be the 20 series of the crawlers. I'd like to have one of them. I'd like to have them all from MC all the way up to the last one, but it takes up shed space. And the crawlers are fun, but once you plow a few rounds with them, you understand why they went to rubber tires, because they beat the hell out of you. I would like to plow with the 8 some. I mean, that might be a little extreme for plow day, but it'd be kind of cool. Good evening, Brandon. Love your videos. We're looking to buy an excavator after the first year. Any recommendations on what to look for our first excavator? Oh boy. I should just make a video of that on its own, like what to look for when you're buying an excavator. Swing bearing, check the swing bearing for sure. Make sure that there's not a lot of play in it. Put the bucket flat on the ground, raise it up, or rock the machine back and forth with the boom, and have somebody watch the swing bearing, see if it's loose. It might be a little loose, but if it seems like a lot, that's a bad sign. Check your pins and bushings at your bucket. See how loose they are. I mean, if it sits there and the bucket does this, it's going to need pins and bushings, and depends on how far the pins are wore through the bushings. If they are wore through the bushings, then you get a lot of money wrapped up in line boring. Hours, at 10,000 hours, if you ask me, it's all downhill from there. It seems like an excavator is good till about that 10,000 mark, and then that's when they get expensive. That's when you start having a lot of replacement repairs. Depends on how they were maintained as far as fluid changes and stuff. About that, I want to say 9,000 to 10,000 hour mark, you're going to be looking at putting swash plates in the pumps. There's a lot of things to look at, and one thing I look at is, believe it or not, is like the Dash 5 Hitachis with the aluminum track pedals. I always look at the pedals. If they've got holes starting to wear in the pedals, they're around 7,000 to 8,000 hours. And I always look at that, and then I look at the hour meter, because I did look at a couple machines that had the hour meters replaced, and you open up the side panel, and luckily, whoever replaced it was honest about it, and they wrote down where the old hour meter quit and where the first or the new one started off again. So, but at that point, with the holes in the track pedals, that told me that that was a higher hour machine. Um, Check your main boom pin, make sure it's not real loose. Check for blow by. Check, see if it's ever had a fire. Make sure there's not a lot of what would you call it? A lot of scars on like the wiring harnesses and things like that. Oh, what else can I tell you to look for? Um, Look behind the sprockets. Make sure there's no gear oil or anything running out of the final drives. Final drives get expensive. I think we had 15,000 in a pair for the 200 that time. Um, Check your tracks, stiff links. See how sharp the sprockets are worn. If you can shave with them, they're junk. The bushings on the tracks, grab them if they feel extremely worn. It's gonna need tracks. See how far the idlers are sliding out of the slots. I mean, if they're way back in there, you've got plenty of track tension to go. Uh, just a lot of things to look for. I mean, I could rattle off a couple hundred more, but I usually check swing bearing, check final drives. Wouldn't hurt to pull the plugs out of final drives and make sure they're not extremely over full of oil. If they blow the plug out and hydraulic oil comes out, there's a problem there. Um, but swing bearings, the reason I say that is because they're expensive and they're a lot of work to change. So, but anyways, hopefully that helps you. And if you want, get my email address out of my bio and send me pictures of it, and I can look at the pictures and kind of give you an idea of my thoughts on it too. Without seeing it, I can't really tell you too much, you know. Uh, let's see. Would you consider Detroit swapping a 50/20? No, because there's a lot of them already swapped. You know, I want to do something different if I'm going to do it. Not sure what I want to do, but something different. 420 crawler, no newer than that. I want to go like I think it was like the 1010 crawler that had the styling of the tractors. What's up with the WD-45? Actually, it's just a WD, and it is still sitting over in Larry's building. I never went and got it, so that's one of them things that I've been procrastinating on. It's my tractor. I just got to go get it. So I found these bottles of Kool-Aid at the local grocery store. Absolutely addicted to it. Hi from the high prairie of Alberta, Canada. It's negative 22 Celsius. What would that be in Fahrenheit? I'll have to look that up. I'm not that quick. Let's see. So we got any more questions? I mean, we kind of died out in the questions. But yeah, that is kind of a good topic for a video. Hey, what's up, neighbor? Oh, not much, just enjoying the cold weather. I don't know what it's like down there in southern Indiana, but it's pretty cold up here. Um, you know, my grandma and grandpa, let's see, CNC Equipment's in Nashville, Indiana. My grandma and grandpa took me down to Nashville probably, oh, I was probably 13 years old. And I don't know if CNC Equipment was around back then, but that's been a long time ago. But definitely is a place that I'd like to go visit, is go down there and visit them and probably go see Dirt Perfect. But I'd really like to go see CNC Equipment, check out some of the equipment on the lot and stuff. So definitely I'd like to get one of them grapple saws. I keep thinking about getting one of them for the Bobcat. I just think that would just be the cat's ass to be able to drive up to a tree, grab a hold of it, cut the stump off, cut the log out of it, and then organize it for the loader to come grab it and take it. Um, so That'd definitely be something cool to have, and I know they've got those. Uh, any interest in livestock farming? Probably just hobby, just to play. I would like to breed a few and have some calves on the farm just for Claire to enjoy it. And I know Madison really likes them. My mom really likes them, so we can all have fun with them. But as far as going crazy with having 50, 60 head of cows, probably not. No, that's probably just too much work for me on top of everything else we got going on. Uh, what happened to the Great All? The Great All's still sitting out back. Just that's another one of them things that once I get my new place built, that's where it'll go. It'll work in the gravel pit. I need to change the seat in it. I got a brand new boat seat to put in it. It's fun to run. It's just I haven't had time to mess with it. But it is sitting out back. All the fluids are good on it. It's got antifreeze in it. You know what? Right now, you go out there right now, hit the starter button, and start right up. I mean that old Detroit and that thing is in good shape. Um, let's see. Hi from Kentucky. What's the difference between the 30, 40, and 50 series four wheel drives? Oh boy, quite a bit. Um, I don't even know where to start. I should. That's another one that should just make a video. Um, I'll tell you what the difference is on the 50 series. The 50 series has a different engine fan, so it's not so loud in the cab. It's got a thicker floor plate, so it's not so loud in the cab. It's a little higher horsepower. Um, single stick transmission, just like the 40 series. 40 series had the single sticks. Um, Now the 30 series, them them tractors were rough. We had an 8430, and it was loud in the cab. You had your bottom glass exposed in the cab, so that let a lot of sound in. They had the thinner floor plate. They were just loud, hard shifting because of the way the shifter linkage worked. It come down out of the cab. It had rocker arms on the outside. It had needle bearings in them, and the needle bearings would go out and it'd make them hard to shift. There was a deal that rocked under the cab to shift, and that would get all loose, and then you couldn't get things adjusted. By far, if you're going to buy an old Soundguard articulated, try to get at least a 40 series or a 50 series. R8640 right now. Stable, please wait while we try to reconnecting. Oh, great. Here we go again. We're going to lose it. Oh, must have got it back. Okay. Oh, everyone loves them. What brand of Excavator would you look at for the first machine as well? Um, oh, CNC equipment. Everybody loves them. Do you have one on the lot right now? Or are they hard to get? I mean, are they like on back order or anything? I was just curious to see what the availability would be on one if I can get Dad talked into it on them grapple saws. Okay, getting back to the comments here. Sorry, I got a little behind. What brand excavator would you look at for your first machine? Um, Probably it would be if I was going to buy one today, be the Hyundai, Hitachi, Deere, or Case or Link Belt. So those five would be my top choices. But that's because of our area. We don't really have a Komatsu dealer close. In fact, a Link Belt dealer is not very close. The Case dealer is in Lafayette, which is 65 miles away. Our Hyundai dealer is not very far away, and they stop at our place at least once, twice a week. So that's why it's looking so good to go with the Hyundai is the dealer support. Um, I mean, now with West Side Tractor not carrying or John Deere being West Side Tractor's top equipment line, and now that Hitachi and John Deere split, that kind of ruined it for us going to just South Bend to get parts for the Hitachis if we bought a new Hitachi. So I'm not sure how that's all going to work. I don't know if John Deere dealers are still going to carry Hitachi. I would believe they're not. So kind of just looked good to stick with the Hyundai at this point. But depends on your dealer support. I mean, what do you have close to you that you can go within an hour and get parts for? It's the way I look at it. Now, a lot of guys are probably going to fight me on this, but I'm not a big fan of the Doosan's. Um, I'm not a big fan of the Sannies. So um, I would say that those are kind of just off the list. But I mean, if you have them, that's great. If they work great for you, that's fine. But for me, and not what I want. Let's see. Oh, the Farmall M you have is gonna come back on the channel. Yeah. I would like to do something with that M because that M was pretty popular here on YouTube. So I would like to do something with it. Probably get some new tires and stuff with it, play around with it, especially if we do hay, probably rake some hay with it, do something with it. Any time frame on putting up your house and garage? Uh, right now, I'm in a battle with my grandma over that because my grandma kind of owns the ground that I want to do it on. And for some reason, she's just not coming off of it. So I don't know. She's being what she calls old and bold. So she's worried about splitting it evenly between the grandkids. I told her grandma I'll just buy it. So I'm gonna work on her some more after Christmas, and once we get through that, I'm sure I can start with something. I'd like to do something at least start something midsummer, if not fall next year. So we'll see what happens. Um, and if I can't pull that piece of ground off, my buddy Zach next to him, there's 10 acres. I might just go build next to him. And then he's already got a big shop. I build a big shop. Him and I might start YouTubing together and be dirt, grain, steel, and heavy pedal garage. He is a awesome Chrysler mechanic, knows Cummins or knows Dodge trucks with Cummins motors inside and out. He can literally lift the hood and smell under it and see what the problem is. That's what he says, anyways. But I'd like to get him on the channel because he is a very, very cool guy. He's become one of my best friends and just really cool, one of them really cool, smooth guys. So really enjoy hanging out with him. And that'd definitely be fun living next to him. Oh, what special crops are grown in your area, and do you grow any? A lot of tomatoes, a lot of potatoes, specialty crops. There's the mint, there's some garlic, there's some onions. Let's see what else. A lot of seed corn, a lot of seed corn in our area. I think that's about it. Pumpkins, a lot of pumpkins, a lot of Christmas trees, but I don't know if you consider that a special crop, a specialty crop. But there's a couple of Christmas tree farms. Uh, Merry Christmas to you. Why? Why do you have three different gleaners? Well, I have one for every occasion, I suppose. No, I have three because I bought them cheap, got them for good prices, and I enjoy them. I like collecting them. And plus, if I didn't have three, you guys wouldn't have three to watch on YouTube. I actually have four. So there's not just three, there's four. So there's the one on tracks, there's the one on the wide drive tires. It's converted to the Case IH heads. Now there's the one on the duals. That's the M3. So, and then the other L2, that's kind of just a parts machine. Uh, CNC equipment. We keep one or two in stock most of the time. If we don't have one, we can get one in a couple of weeks. So I got a question for CNC equipment. Do you have a good line of mini excavator brush mowers? I'm kind of looking for one for our little EX60 Hitachi. We've been looking at some from Rut Manufacturing. We really like their design, but haven't really reached out to them yet to see about getting one. So I figured maybe I'd ask. Another thing that we're looking for, and we can't come up with it, we need a 48-inch tooth bucket for our 270 Hitachi. Cannot come up with one. I mean, 48 or even like a 36 would probably be okay for it. But we ripped the bottom out of ours, and it's that bucket's got like 20,000 hours on it. So it's kind of to the point where not much left to rebuild of it. Sunstorms messing up a lot of live broadcasts today. What are my plans for the pulling truck? Well, that's up in the air. Um, they kind of got rid of the open classes. There's not many of them left, and I always like to pull open class. And now that they've kind of phased that out, I would have to go to like a 2.5 or 2.6 class, and I'd have to join a an actual league and stuff like that. And I just don't know if I want to do it. I mean, I used to like to go to the pulling track on Saturday night, pay my entry fee, pull in the open class where it was run what you brung and hope you brung enough. That was my favorite thing to do. And now that they've kind of gotten rid of that, you ask me, it's not fun anymore. So the pulling truck, I was thinking about getting it out this winter, getting it out of the shed, bringing it in the shop, clean it up, wash it, get it running, play with it for a while out in the snow, just to make sure it's not stuck or anything. It's kind of sad that they did away with my favorite class, but I mean that's just how things go. I mean stuff like that's getting phased out more and more. It was my favorite thing to do on a Saturday night, you know. So I didn't really do anything else but work on that truck. Let's see. How old am I? I am 33 years old this year. CNC equipment. We are a dealer for Baumlite. You can check their website out, mowers and prices. Okay, I'll check them out sometime here. But getting back to the pulling truck, I got a lot of time invested in that thing. And it was one of them deals where my dad just let me go with it and keep playing with it because he figured that if I'm spending all that time out in the shop late at night, I'm not out messing around doing other things that could be potentially dangerous for my health, is what he always said. So I did take a lot of pride in doing a lot of the work to that truck on my own. Um, I didn't I didn't really take a lot of it to diesel shops and have them do it, other than like the injector pump and stuff like that. I had them do, but the rest of it all I did myself in house. Do you or have you ever antique tractor pulled? That was my dad's thing back in the day. He was the antique tractor puller. No, I never have. Never messed with it. Thought about it, but just never did it. My dad had a John Deere 60 that he pulled, and I can't remember how many horse he got out of that tractor, but it was pretty impressive. But that was long before I came along, and supposedly that tractor he sold it, and an old man bought it, and it was so pretty that the old man put it in his two-car garage. I guess backed it in on carpet, and he would just sit in a lawn chair and look at it because he had farmed with one years ago. Thought that tractor was so pretty they just sit around and look at it. That was the story that I always got. What kind of pulling truck do I have? I have a 1997 Dodge 2500 with a 5.9 Cummins in it. It is a two-door or single cab long bed. And that was always kind of my crippling factor, was I didn't have the wheelbase. I needed like a extended cab long bed truck, and I always said I was going to do it with a short bed truck, but or sorry, single cab long bed truck, but that extra length just made the difference every night for guys. I was always going to extend it out, and I never did. And I brought it home one night, bent in the middle, Had to take the bed off, take the 270 and shove it back down, bend the frame rails back, and I plated them and I had to straighten it all out. Oh, I know you're all for more cows. This is the problem. She's going to be wanting 20 or 30 of them when I told her no. I will probably get a few more. I really want to raise some calves, so that's something I really want to do. My grandma always did, and I think that'd just be kind of fun to do just in memory of her. And I know that she would enjoy it if she was still here. Oh, great. Now we got spam in our. Let's just remove these. We're going to report those. Pornography. I don't know. I like how these can just pop up unsolicited. I'll get rid of them. So I probably should get off of here pretty soon because I don't want to interrupt Dirt Perfect's live. I'm sure he's going to be going live tonight, and I don't want to interrupt his and take you guys that watch him away from him. So, would I ever own a Minneapolis Moline? I don't know. They're not very popular around here. They are not very popular at all. My friend Brian's got a couple, but those are about the only. Well, I take that back. My friend Brian's got a couple, and my friend Doug has a couple. But those are about the only ones I know of around here. They just weren't extremely popular. We had chickens and pigs when I was a kid. Madison keeps getting on me about raising some chickens, and I've had chickens off and on, and I don't know. Sometimes I think it's easier to go to the store and buy eggs than it is to deal with the damn chickens. Now we did have some pigs, but them kind of got a little out of hand, and they got well. It was during COVID, and the whole deal with butcher shops and things like that. We couldn't get them. We couldn't get them in on time, and they got way too fat. So finally, our neighbor actually butchered them for us. We couldn't get an appointment for them. Let's see. I'm behind. Oh, I've enjoyed watching your videos since you came across your channel. Hello from the Mitten State. Oh, Michigan. What state are you in? I am in Indiana. Dirt Perfect thought I was in Canada for some reason, and he still don't know why he thought I was in Canada, but might just be my accent. I'm from Stark County, Indiana, not to be confused with Stark County, Ohio. I guess there is. A lot of people get that confused, but it's not. I'm basically in northern Indiana. DP isn't far from my house. Oh yeah, he's not very far from you in Kentucky, Pete. I didn't even think about that. Just on the other side of the Ohio River, basically. We like we like your life better. Well, thank you. Uh, my wife wants chickens. Chickens are all right, but ever since I had a massacre, uh, I had a raccoon get in the chicken coop, and I mean it just that I opened up the chicken coop the next day, and I just, oh, there's bloody handprints everywhere, chicken heads pulled off all over the place, and it was just bad. And ever since then, I just said, you know what, no more chickens. Turned the chicken coop into a yard barn, and said no more. Um, but if you do build a chicken coop, make sure the eaves between your rafters are closed up because that's where I went wrong and that's where the raccoon got in. My friend Eric come and trapped every one of the coons. There was like three of them that were living in the tree right above it, and trapped them and got rid of them. How are the goats? They're doing really good. They're with the cows now, so I had to watch them for a while and make sure they're okay. But I guess I found out that goats and cows are good together because the goats prevent the cows from getting like ringworm and stuff. Um, Let's see. Oh, the Bibster's on here. How's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while. Southern Indiana. What city in Southern Indiana, if you don't mind I ask? I think you might have told me once, but I was trying to remember. Love the drag lines. Hope you make more videos of it. I would like to make more videos. In fact, I'd like to go get at least one of those cranes that Dirt Perfect and I went and looked at. I'd like to have one of the. I'd like to have the M Inslee, the good running one that they actually have. So that would give me my LS-78 and give me the M Inslee. I'd have those two. Um, I'd like to have a smaller crane. I wish I still had my LS-58 link belt. I should have never sold that one, but that would just be a nice size to throw on a trailer to go get like a log jam or something out of the river or something like that. Yeah, eggs are getting expensive. I noticed that. I went in the store the other day just to get some stuff to make pigs in a blanket, and things were getting expensive, or they are expensive. Pigs in a blanket used to be kind of a cheap treat. Now it's. What did my grandma tell me? Her she always makes cheese balls for Christmas, and I think she told me now she's got like $16 per cheese ball when she makes them. So just things are getting ridiculous. Going good, hanging out with Glenn. Well, that's good. Oh, Petersburg, Indiana. That's right. Oh my God, we got another spam here. I will get rid of that, or try to at least. Report. I don't understand how YouTube will let some of these in here. No, I have not given up on the 50/20. We went through that a little bit ago. We are going to fix it. We're going to kind of patch it up for now, put some new main bearings in it, and see what it does. Um, I don't plan on giving up on that tractor. I'd really like to do a full overhaul on it, but we'll see what happens. I was thinking about a friend of mine had an auction and he had a self-propelled John Deere scraper that had the same engine in it as the 50/20. I thought about buying that scraper cheap, but everything functioned on that scraper. So I'm like, you know what? There's no point in knocking a good piece of equipment in the head just to take the engine from it. So I said, no, we'll find one in a 50/20 that has transmission issues or something. When Dad bought this farm, it was mostly mini tractors around here. Huh. How did I make out with Indian corn? Um, I sold, I sold some of it, and I kept or whatever's left. I'm just gonna grind feed. It's not gonna hurt the cows, so I'm just gonna grind it. But I did sell some. Gave some to my family for decoration around the house. I put it out at the road like I do the critter corn, and just put a money box out there. And I think I sold it for like I don't know 2 years for I don't even remember what I sold it for now, but quite a few people bought it. Um, but it's one of them deals. It's not a huge money maker. Need some mods to help with the fun spams. Yeah, I do. I need to figure out how to do that. 18. Huh. Well, thank you for reporting it. Oh, what year is that 50/20? I think you're right. I think it is a 68. I can't remember. I got so many serial numbers and dates in my head and different things, different equipment. It's hard to keep track of all of them. Yeah, the 50/20 I think was probably my favorite series of videos too. Well, I shouldn't say that. The old D8's growing on me pretty good. Um, I need to get that dozer up to snuff and get it running good. I've been watching CNC's equipment's videos on theirs, and I need to get that dozer in the shop. As soon as the 2388's done and out of there, I'd like to get the 8 in there and get the manifold issues fixed on it. Need to get all the bottom rollers. The bottom rollers on it are $600 a piece, and it's going to take $7,000 to re-roller it. So that gets expensive quick. Them big dozers, but you know what? They're worth their weight in gold because they'll move some dirt. Have I ever grown popcorn? Not on a large scale. I have grown some out, just like I did with the Indian corn, but never on a large scale. Um, we've thought about trying to get some popcorn contracts, but them are pretty much all spoken for by their veteran growers. Um, they kind of that's kind of down there in that Madairyville, Francisville area, and a lot of them guys have that all mopped up already and have them contracts filled. So maybe someday, if we do buy grain bins, we'll probably get them with popcorn floors just in case we do decide to grow some popcorn. Uh, you may not know, but popcorn is a heavier corn, so it requires a stronger floor in the bin. And I think the side sheets are a little thicker too. But it's kind of nice just to order them for popcorn because then they're tough. Are you part of Vintage Farming Group on Facebook? Thought I've seen your name. Yeah, I am. I do. Yes, I am. I do share my videos occasionally on there. I try to put my videos on here, and then I like to go through and post them to my YouTube groups. I hope nobody gets aggravated with that. But some of them, if they don't like it, they just won't post a video or they'll ask you not to do it. And I know pretty much all the ones that don't care because they've never said anything to me. So I just assume they enjoy them. So I just keep doing it. And that's how you grow your channel also, is you kind of throw it out there as much as you can. Um, what really helps me is like if some of you pick a video and you share it on other forms of social media, that helps me get my reach out farther. I don't expect people to, but I always like to ask if somebody would, share some of this somewhere else. It really helps me. Uh, and that's the thing. Um, I think it takes 14 rollers. I think it's 7 per side. I think is what Dad said the other day when he came in the shop because he was out looking at it. Um, that's the thing about this older equipment, like the older loaders, the older dozers. They're starting to go up in value because there's no emissions on them, and guys really want them, especially out west. There's been a lot of rebuilds on them, and guys putting them back into service. So, I mean, they are getting to be pretty desirable. Uh, eggs for 18. Oh, $5.99. Well, that's actually a pretty good deal because for a dozen here in town they were $5.99. So if you're getting them 18 for $5.99, it's a good deal. Is there much difference between a 2188 and a 2388? We run a 2188 and a 9500, but I'd like to get a 2388 or something a little bigger. Oh boy, that's a good question for my buddy Brock. The guy that got his excavator stuck, and I pulled him out this last spring. He was a Case IH mechanic, and his empire was the 2188 through 2388. From what I understand, basically a 2188 is like a 1688 with just a newer cab on it. Once you got into the 2388s, you were into higher capacity. There was a lot of changes in like the sieves and things like that. Larger rotor. Uh, I think. See, I don't know that much about them to tell you everything, but I know there was a lot of changes in them. They claim The best 2388s are the ones with the rotary air screen right on the back, just like ours sticks out the back. They claim you don't want a side screen one for some reason. I've got a friend that's got went from a rear screen to a side screen, and he liked his rear screen better. So I'm not exactly sure what exactly is the big thing about it, but you'd have to find you a good veteran Case IH mechanic to give you the lowdown on all that. Christopher from Tennessee. Hey, how's it going? I didn't know popcorn had different weight than regular. I knew you couldn't dry it with a dryer. Yeah, it definitely weighs more. It's heavier. I'd have to look it up to tell you pounds per bushel, but it is different. J Pay Dirt. You know what? The funny part is you brought that up. I actually just messaged him yesterday. I had a question on the 8 and about different grills because if you look through images and like Google and stuff, you start looking at D8s, D9s. Some of them have at the top they have a flat bar grill, and the flat bars are tipped up. And I was wondering what the difference was between like the punch plate round hole grill like we have on our 8 and the flat bar grill. And the idea of the flat bar grill was to deflect the air up when you're pushing pans with them. Instead of pushing blowing the dust right at the back of the pan, it veered it up. And I'm assuming that was because you were pushing pans that were the dual engine ones, and they didn't want the dust going in the air filter of the engine on the back of the pan. The quad D9s that were put together also had that style of grill, so that the back D9 was blowing the dust up over the front one where the operator actually sat. So I have talked to Jay Pay Dirt. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I told my bride I want a vintage tractor just to go to plow day and have some fun. I think you should. I encourage everybody that wants to buy a vintage tractor. I think you should get you one, Pete. Uh, what would be cool is if you could find you like a little 40 or a 420 John Deere, a little 2 cylinder, or even an M. You know, that would be kind of a cool tractor that you could transport rather easily. Throw you like a little 2 bottom plow with it or behind it on the 3 point, and you could come plow with us. Making teaser posts about the new 220 on site. Um, I did make a couple posts, and I was wondering if anybody caught it that the 220 was back. A few caught it that it was back. So we are going to be doing a project with it this week. There will be more videos of it. Kind of got a special project that I'm doing. I kind of donated the demolition of a building here in our downtown. The city was kind of stuck with the building, and it's right next to our favorite restaurant. It's kind of a safety issue. So I told Dad, I said, between the YouTube channel and our excavating business, we're going to donate tearing that building down and cleaning it up. The city's going to provide dumpsters and any fill dirt that's needed. So we're going to clean that building up down to the concrete pad. That's all going to stay. And it's been talked about that the back wall of the building is going to stay. But I think by the time I get through the burnt building to that back wall, I'm going to say it's going to be a safety issue and that wall will probably need to come down. But that's all coming up this week. Not sure when that video will be up. It should be up by Friday or Saturday. We'll see what happens. I've got Clifton coming to run the drone, so it should be a fairly good video. Hopefully get some views on that one. I need to really get some more views. I just can't figure out this YouTube algorithm. Seems like some of the stuff that used to do really good is not doing the best anymore. It's just kind of frustrating when you go over to like Dirt Perfect's channel and you see 40,000 views on a video that's only been on for 10 hours, and you come back to mine and I only got maybe 2,000 views. That's kind of frustrating. It's like, is his stuff that much better than mine, or am I just not doing something right here, putting it up on YouTube? But I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep trying it and see uh, what happens here. Oh, hi from East Central Illinois. Let's see, just picked up a Farmall H. It was a barn find, just need a carburetor. Engine is still good. Get a hold of the Bates Corporation. They're up here in Bourbon, Indiana. They can probably get you a carburetor if you need one. Let's see. Not many John Deeres near us. See lots of IH and AC. That's something about Kentucky. There is a lot of Allis-Chalmers. If you watch Big Tractor Power, he did a couple videos on baling straw, and there was one family farm that they were Allis-Chalmers everything. They had a big Allis-Chalmers wheel loader. They had Gleaner combine, Allis-Chalmers baler, all kinds of Allis-Chalmers stuff. They must have really pushed Allis-Chalmers down that area, and really there was a lot of Allis-Chalmers stuff in this area, but it kind of phased out when the dealers left. In fact, when I was picking Josh's corn, a good friend of ours come and sat in the field and watched. He's like, man, this really brings back memories from when he had his old straight L. He had a straight L. It wasn't an L. It was just an L. No L2, no L3. And he had bought it from the Allis-Chalmers dealer right there in North Judson. So it just seems like once they phased out of this area, there just was no more. Last week on your video of the feller buncher, you went on a ditch grade. How do you think you need more counterweight? I don't need any more counterweight on that. That's kind of just being a daredevil stunt right there, going over the edge. That's tipping it a little too far, but it works. I can make it work. But that machine, it don't look like it, but it actually weighs 56,000 pounds. It's heavy. It'll handle up to a 28-inch tree is what I can grab and actually swing with it. But I have cut larger off with it. I have to cut them from a couple different sides and sometimes knock a block out to get the head in deeper and cut it some more. But yeah, it don't need any more counterweight. Did the building? Yes, that building burnt. In fact, that building burnt the day that we went to look at the 2388 to buy it. We were out of town when it burnt, and Facebook was blowing up with the town of Knoxville supposedly on fire. Well, I started looking, and it's actually it was an old, at one time it was a Sears store, and then I don't know what it was last, some kind of model, like Dungeons and Dragons game crap store or something like that. I think it was a music store for a while, but it burnt, and it burnt good. I mean, it was a hot fire. I guess they had it about out, and then the gas line caught on fire, and it was a bad deal. There's like, I think 6 or 7 fire departments that responded to it. By the time we got back home, it was already out. Let's see. I think YouTube looks at how you introduce the videos. I see these clickbait guys got tons of views on shit content. Oh, emoji poop content. Sorry, I guess I filled in the blank there. Yeah, I shouldn't say I don't like clickbait, but I try not to use it. I like it sometimes because sometimes it does work to get views, but then I feel guilty for using it. And a couple of guys have called me out on it and actually left the channel and got upset about it. But I'm like, if you would have just watched the video, you would have probably seen what was going on. And sometimes, like when I got the generator that I bought from my Uncle Jamie, I put saved from the scrap, and the thumbnail picture just ended up being the 220 Hyundai. And I know everybody was thinking, oh, he, saved the 220 from scrap. Well, that wasn't the case. That was just the automatically generated thumbnail that YouTube came up with, and I just went with it. Well, that bit me in the butt because a couple of guys got upset about it, and I apologize for that. but it happens. Oh, I should have told you I'm in south central Kansas. How's the weather in Kansas? What's it like this time of year? Actually, my our buddy Mike Crick that owns KTM Trucking, he has family out in Kansas, I believe, and he goes out there once a year on a hunting trip. And has he got a brother that lives out there? Might be a brother. I'll have to ask him. I can't remember exactly, but he goes out to Kansas sometimes. Um, I know Wizard of Oz talked about Kansas. Interesting thing is, Wizard of Oz talks about Kansas out there, but the Wizard of Oz was written right here at Bass Lake, Indiana. So I don't know where they got the whole concept of Kansas in that story, but I don't know. I wasn't around for that. Um, First tractor I bought with my own money was an AC 45. I was only 13 years old. My dad paid me for baling hay and milking cows. That's how I earned the money. That's cool. It's interesting to hear them stories like that. Was that a wide front or a narrow front? The one that I'm getting, it's just a WD. It's not actually WD 45. It is a narrow front with the wide front conversion. And actually, I'm getting everything to put it back to a narrow front if I want to, also. Your videos are awesome and informative, and I really like that you tell about life. Well, thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Everybody, the like button, the subscribe button, the white button. You know they changed that. It used to be red. Now it's white. A wide front. See, I'd like to I've got that roto baler now, and I've got the all crop combine. So I think the WD needs to go on those. That's where it belongs. Well, we got 75 people in here tonight. That's pretty good for just deciding to have a spur of the moment live. I probably should get off of here pretty soon. Probably should go spend some time with a lady friend this evening. I'm sure she's out in the living room, probably getting tired of listening to me on YouTube Live. I'm waiting for her to comment here in a second and yell at me. I have 9 tractors in my collection and have a lot of different colors. Looking for a John Deere D. Oh, the D. My buddy Mort bought a D. He comes to me, he calls me when he gets it, and he's all excited about it. And then he comes and tells me, he's like, that D is a miserable tractor. And he said, it takes 40 acres to turn it around. That was just funny when he told me that. The D's are cool, though. I wouldn't mind having one in the collection. Cold today this week, a couple real cold days. It's supposed to be really cold here this week, so we're going to see what happens. But it's a good test for the 220. Get her up here in some of the cold climate and see how she reacts. But I guess when I say cold, it's not really cold. I have a friend in Canada that corrects me all the time and says, you don't know what cold is. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't know what cold is. What was the tractor you purchased on your own? Oh boy, which one? Uh, huh. Quite a few of them out of the collection are mine. The 8650 is mine. 620 is mine. The MC is mine. There's Dad. I guess I shouldn't say that they're mine because the way my dad and I work is what's his is mine and what's mine is his. We don't really separate stuff like that. We work together on everything, and we just consider it. Oh, Asher wants out. Hang on a second. There you go. So we don't do that crap where we if I own something and he needs it, I don't rent it to him. I let him use it. And if he's got something that I need, he lets me use it. It's you got some of these fathers and sons that are like that, and it's like, you know what? We've never been that way, and we're not going to be that way. Oh, let's see. When are you going to marry her? Are you guys like talking outside of the YouTube chat or what? That sounds like something that she put somebody up to saying. I'm going to get yelled at for that. Let's see. So, did you keep the one Gleaner for parts? Yes, I have it for parts. And in fact, I've robbed a few parts off of it this fall to keep the other ones going. But I've kept track of everything that I've robbed off of it in case I do want to put it back together and get it a running combine again. Oh, are you going to rebuild the 5020 eventually? Yes. Probably do a full overhaul on it. Probably going to wait till I get my own shop, but for now we're going to patch it up and see if we can get it running again just to play with it. Tyler Tunis, am I cool? And will you sell me Dirty Peter? Haha. Yes, you're cool. You've been working for me. How can you not be cool? Um, will you sell me Dirty Peter? We'll talk about it. But do you really want that truck being a day cab and doing what you want to do with it? Um, I thought you wanted to maybe go for some long trips with it. I don't know if you want a day cab for that, and especially a little truck. That's a little truck compared to like a 379. Uh, Pete, I've been trying to talk to her about doing some YouTube stuff, but she don't want to do it. I told her you need to do something on YouTube. I think you'd be good at it, but I think what she's going to start doing is I'm going to start having her like type up some really nice letters to blow smoke up people's dresses and try to get maybe some tool companies to sponsor me or something like that. We'll see. I think maybe I'll send her to a college course on professional writing and maybe she can do something like that. We'll see. But as long as she keeps keeping the house clean and stuff like that, that's all she's got to do. She's a mail lady, so she works too. So I mean, she ought to do is get a dash cam and video her mail route and be Madison's mail life is what she could call her channel or something like that. I don't know. Um, it's -15. That's cold. That's a little too cold. After you started show the Gleaners, I see a lot more of them on YouTube. Do you think that you started a trend? I often wonder that because I really wonder that because every Gleaner that I've seen come up for sale now is like 10,000 or more. And before I started this whole YouTube thing, you could buy an L2 for 3,500 bucks all day long, both heads. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I'm responsible for it. I do know that there were some models, 164th models, that popped up with tracks on them for sale after I had put tracks on one. So I'm not going to say I was completely responsible for any of that stuff, but maybe I was. Who knows? We'll find out someday. Maybe somebody will actually tell me. But I know it's getting tough to buy an L2 now for under 10. I mean, I've seen some for 15, 20, and that's ridiculous. They shouldn't be worth that much. And plus, things are different now. The last couple of years, everything has gotten ridiculously expensive. Oh, Pete, it's hard getting companies to sponsor. Yeah, I know. I know that you've reached out to a lot of them, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me. You've been with me since I started this YouTube channel, and Pete has been wonderful helping me on this. Um, he got me with a Mulehead company. In fact, they sent me an email a couple days ago thanking me again for using their products. And it's like, maybe could send a can of something, maybe. Well, they haven't. So now I got this Vevero tool company that's been on me to do things with them, and their tools are kind of they're bottom of the barrel. They sent me a welder to do videos with, and I made 2 passes stick welding with it, and I didn't even make a video with it because it crapped out before I could even make a video. So I told them, I said, to save face, I'm not even gonna make a video of this because that was just, that was just ridiculous. Um, so thank you, Pete, for all the help along the way. Appreciate that. Um, but I tried early on to reach out to like DeWalt, Milwaukee, companies like that. And it's not so much that I want the free tools, it's just that I'd like to do something, I'd like to be part of their companies and, try to spread to help them, you know. And maybe I'm just not a big enough YouTube channel to do that yet. I don't know. Maybe they have certain requirements, like you got to be over 100 subscribers to do something like that. But honestly, anymore on YouTube, the way I understand it, subscribers aren't everything. It's just watch time and things like that and likes. So YouTube has totally changed since I've started it. Oh, let's see. I got a little behind. Um, if you could own a tractor of every model, what would they be? Oh boy, I'd like to have like all the 50 series John Deere sound guard cab tractors, and excuse me, and I'd like to have all of the 50 series open stations that John Deere ever built. I think that'd be really cool. I'd like to have like a 200 horse front wheel assist open station tractor. I think that would be really neat. But as far as, I don't know how to answer that every model. Um, I'd like to have a couple big buds just to play with. Maybe plow some tile in, do some field work with them. Um, some of the Allis-Chalmers, I always wanted one of the front wheel assist Allis-Chalmers. Just never got one. Old Cat Challenger, I'd like to have one of those, or at least run one for a while. Almost bought one time. There was one on the John Deere dealership lot. The old flat track had the 3406 cat in it. We almost bought it at the time. It only wanted like 35,000. Had new tracks on it and stuff. It was a pretty nice old tractor. But what did we buy instead? I think we bought the 8640 instead of it. Probably should have bought the Challenger. Um, let's see. Do you plan on having a spring plow day? I talked about this earlier in the video. Um, yes, we would like to have a plow day. We usually don't discuss that until like January, February. Jeff and I need to get together and talk about it, see where we can have one, what we can do. Um, kind of, we'll just have to see how things go. Um, yeah, that there's some things that have happened in the family with my grandpa passing, and I don't know if we can use his farm to have it on. So we'll see about that. We could probably have it on the farm that we uh, had it this last spring on. So we'll talk about that when we get to that point. Let's see. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, Brandon. That question just came out of the top of my head. It's all right. She has a good sense of humor. I have a good sense of humor, so that's okay. Yes, I'm gonna marry her eventually. So I'll see that woman handle cows. She does good with them. She's stout. Have a good night. Have to finish up barn chores. Really enjoy your videos. Thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I'm sure we'll see you on the next one. Uh, don't want to keep you, but I think we could talk tractors and farming for hours. We can go a little longer if you got some more. Want to talk about some more stuff? You're welcome. Yes, I remember the silver cedar story you told me. That's been a while ago, but I remember it. So we're at an hour and 44 minutes and 38 seconds. So the camera issue must be resolved. What I think happened was the computer wanted to update because once I shut everything off, it updated and it restarted the whole computer. And I'm glad that everybody stayed around so we could continue on with this live. It's hard to. I don't mean stout in a bad way. It's not a bad way. But anyways, I don't think we're gonna have to use a webcam. I think we're gonna be fine with this camera. I need to finish out my room here. I got my Gleaner sign I'd like to put up on the wall and stuff. So this is kind of I want to make this room kind of my studio. Um, so if you're looking for any last minute Christmas gifts, and not this little crescent wrench, but I'm gonna use it to point with, up there on that shelf is a box from a off-brand Chinese Lego train set. If you want to keep your kids busy, get them one of them train sets because trust me, that is one of the most unorganized sets between that one and the other one that I got. It took me probably a good 15 hours to put the one set together because they're so unorganized and the instructions are so hard to follow. So if you want to keep your kids busy, get them one of those train sets off Amazon. So it was definitely that was a very interesting thing. And for those of you who don't know, I like to put Legos together at night. Kind of helps me unwind. But this was the one Lego train set I put together, and this thing was confusing. True Legos, they keep everything sorted and separated. And as you can see, that was a pretty fun build without everything sorted and organized. So that'll keep the kids busy and out of your hair. Um, have you ever thought about going to renter stock farms? Yeah, I might make an adventure out there to their next show. We'll see what happens. See what we got going on. Just found out you're on. Looking forward to part two of 3D printing. Uh, Part two should be up. Part three will be next Sunday. I've learned a lot about this 3D printer, and trust me, it's been a learning curve. At one point, it almost went flying out the room window here and out in the front yard because it was giving me all sorts of headaches. But when it's right, it does a nice job. I mean that is a Model E John Deere hit and miss engine block and crankcase, and you can see it does a pretty nice job. So definitely going to make a video on it and go through some things with you guys because the software is kind of tricky. There's one icon that I wasn't clicking and I didn't realize I needed to click, and that actually helps you choose the printer that you have. So it's just been, and then the whole, they call it the FEP, which the FEP is the tray that you put the resin in and print out of. I did not know that you need to spray a non-stick lubricant on it, like this dry lube WD-40. So it's been learning. I've learned a lot, and trust me, it's been fun, but it's been annoying at the same time. So we'll go over all that in a video. Um, uh, let's see. Do you have any special Christmas train layout this year? Unfortunately, no, I don't. Christmas kind of snuck up on me, and we got a big tree this year, and it didn't leave any room in the living room to put up the train. And we got a lot of gifts and stuff under the tree. So my plan is hopefully I'll have a new house maybe sometime, maybe next Christmas, and I'll be able to have a larger room and get the trains out and set them up around the tree. I apologize for not doing that this year, but just been a lot of things going on and just kind of slipped and just didn't get it done. I really wanted to, don't get me wrong, but just couldn't make it happen. And now we're already so close to Christmas. We're on the 18th already. It's like, do I drag all the stuff out for a couple days or just call it a wash and do it next year? I've ran 3 Different series of cat challengers, not impressed. Rough riding, fuel guzzling, high priced machines. The 4-wheel drive deers are far superior. Well, I'm glad to know that because I've always really wondered about them, and there's not a whole lot of them around here. And you know what? I got enough to deal with on tracks now. Do I need anything else with tracks on it? A couple guys asked me, "Are you going to get a grain cart on tracks?" No, I have no desire to get a grain cart on tracks because I already have the Bobcat on rubber tracks to deal with. I have the Dozers, the Excavators, enough tracks. Just tires, they roll fine. Just they work. I got a Gleaner on tracks. That's enough too. Um, would you like to get started in a hobby with my? Oh, would like to get started in a hobby with my daughter. What gauge do you recommend to start with? Um, my dad started me out with O gauge. I had when I got a little older, I got into HO, but you just can't beat the durability of a Lionel train set. Especially younger children with them, they're very durable. Um, my suggestion is go to um, like Menards. Menards sometimes carries the Lionel train sets. I've got the John Deere one. I've got the Milwaukee Road one. And my suggestion is go get one of them train sets. They use the Lionel Fast Track, and they have the remote controller. Um, but if I had a child right now that was of a certain age, probably that 5, 6 year old range, I'd probably go with O scale because N scale's just too small. You ask me, N scale's for those older retired guys that are very meticulous. HO scale, that's your teenage years. And then if you're going to run them outside, G scale all day long. I mean, you could get a small child G scale, but they take up so much space. But they are cool. G scale trains are cool. Okay, where are we at? Do you leave the Lego set put together, or do you like my son and take it apart and throw them in a bin? When I was little, I used to tear them all back apart and put them away. But now that I'm older, I got them all put up here on the shelf as I build them, and I've been keeping them built because I just set them on the shelf. Like I've got a whole collection. If you see them of unbuilt sets over there that I haven't touched yet, and I got some up there higher that I haven't messed with. I just yeah, you can see there's the built ones and stuff. So you know, as I get older, I leave them together. I got plenty of shelf space, so I figured why not. Oh, let's see. Hey, bud, got to run and get Watson out ready for bed. He's old and complaining, still mad I went out for dinner. You know how rescues are. I love his name, Watson. It reminds me of Sherlock Holmes. We just got done fixing the 4640. What was wrong with your 4640? Yeah, those tracks are ridiculous to replace. Like the Maruco track trucks that we had. I believe a track for one of those is 25,000. So if you're looking at a haul truck on tracks, there's $50,000 worth of track to retrack them. So they're expensive. Rubber tracks are expensive. We just bought a pair. They were 3,500. Yeah, Bobcat tracks. That's those. Well, we used to go through almost a set of tracks a year on a T300 Bobcat. But then we got our wheel loader with the rake, and that really took the hours off of the Bobcat. So then we were getting 2 years out of a set of tracks. Madison and my daughter are the same age. Well, you better go with the G scale then, because they're going to be rough on it. No, I'm joking. Yeah, No, I I really like the O scale. And you don't have to go with Lionel either. You can go with you used to have K line, you have MTH, I think you have Aristocraft trains now, and a lot of them are just as good a quality or better than Lionel. So you don't have to stick with the Lionel name. How old is Asher? I really I really don't know. He's got to be 5 years old now, maybe 5, 6. I don't know. I don't know how old he was when I got him. It's a problem, but he's like Tuck Everlasting, where he drank the water where he don't age, or he just doesn't age because he's really not looking old yet. And I've had him for 5 years, I think now. So, oh, go Z scale. That's tiny. That's really tiny. But Asher, I don't have a birth certificate or papers or anything like that for him. And the sad part is he's fixed. I wish he wasn't fixed because he would make beautiful. I wish I could have another puppy of him because unfortunately I'm going to outlive him. And that's the sad part is our dogs don't outlive us, and I'm gonna miss him when he's gone, and I wish I had a way of being able to get another Asher, but I don't know if I'll ever find another one. Looking around at the older German-made John Deeres, any way to figure out gray market Euro spec machines made from? Well, I can tell you right now that like our 2940, that's a German. It'll say it right on the serial number tag. Then were known as the Mannheim tractors because they were built in Mannheim, Germany, and they should say right on them if you find a tractor. I know these smaller front wheel assists, like 50 series, like what are they, 3255? I don't remember. My uncle had one. That's been so long ago, but I remember that tractor quite well. That one was a definitely a German tractor. And what makes them stick out too is most of the time they'll have really short axles and wide tires. That'll definitely right there tell you, hey, German tractor, because they don't run axle mount duals like we do over here. So there are ways to tell. And I think if the back window opens fully too, that's a Euro style tractor. But I know like the 40 series that were made in Mannheim, Germany, say it right on the tag. O scale used to be really popular around here because we had Valpo Pet and Hobby, and they were a big Lionel dealer. And but that was back when I was a kid and teenager, and that trains were still really popular. But now these kids nowadays just aren't into that stuff anymore. We have a good hobby shop in town. I will say he's got quite the stock of Lionel stuff in there. Um, what I want to do is when I start collecting again, is I want to go all American Flyer S scale because that's starting to be a big thing, and S scale is 1/64th, so it matches all the 1/64th farm toys, so it's easier to model with those. Um, really enjoy your video and condolences again for your grandpa. Thank you. If cloning was an option, we could have our dogs forever. I know. And I've really, really considered if there's a way that I could go like do something with DNA and get um, somehow to get another Asher, but I don't know if that's possible. I'm sure it's probably possible somewhere. And I know this is kind of a creepy thing, but I've almost thought about having Asher mounted, just have a mount of him, so I can still see him, but I don't feel I don't know if that's the respectable thing to do to your poor dog. I think. Oh, Tyler texted me. He's on here and he's on here. Oh, okay. So going over the plan for tomorrow. Uh, had an O scale and 57. Didn't appreciate it. Dumb. Yep. Yeah, they will tell you right on the tag. It just interests me how many tractors came over here and how many tractors went over there. It's like did they pass in the ocean as they were going? And what really surprising is how many um well, there's not as many case combines as I thought there would be overseas. I've had a couple viewers tell me that I've helped them change rotor belts on them, and there's only like a handful of them over there. It's just kind of interesting. You'd think more of them would have made their way over there. But anyways, I think I'm gonna end this here pretty soon because we're already at 2 hours and 48 seconds. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. I had a lot of fun with this. It's kind of fun just doing these pop up ones. Um, I didn't imagine that we would let it go this long, but hey, I enjoyed the conversations with everybody. Maybe we should start doing this on Sundays more often. Maybe I will actually post when I want to have a live, and then we can all get together. So let me know in some comments if you want to see me do some more lives. We'll do some more lives now that winter's coming and things are slowing down. We can do some more. So thank you everybody for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you all in the next one. I do have another video on my phone of cooking breakfast this morning. I don't know if anybody's enjoying the cooking videos or not, but they're kind of fun and they're I like doing them because like my aunt Peg watches the channel and I know she gets a kick out of it. That'd be my grandma Marcia's sister, and she gets a kick out of them. So I just do them to entertain people more or less. Like I told Madison, I said, really, some of the people that watch my videos don't watch the video to see or to learn how to do it. They just want to watch me do it. So it's just fun to watch. So oh, we got a few more comments real quick. Glad I got a chance to watch. We'll look forward to the replay. Thank you. Uh, More lives. Been into American Flyer S gauge since I was a kid in the 60s. Really love the detail of the two rails. Still collecting them. Didn't get any set up this year yet. Um, the egg video was cool. Thank you. Do some more lives. Definitely. I only caught the last 10 minutes of this one. Well, you'll be able to watch. It'll be posted, so you can watch the beginning of this live. So, uh, so, anyways, I think we're gonna end it here. Thank you for watching, and be looking forward to more videos with the 220 Hyundai. They're coming, so I will definitely get them posted by next weekend. I think it'll be. So see what happens. So, oh, have to check out Don Campbell. Uh, I've been watching Don Campbell for years, actually. I've been friends with him on Facebook since he got on Facebook. Real nice guy. I've tried to. I put in the comments one time I wanted him to build me a John Deere 690B excavator. I would love to have one of his models, have him build me one, but he's always been so busy with other projects that I can understand. So my goal is with the 3D printers, I would like to print a lot of my equipment if I can figure out how to do it. And I'd like to make some John Deere 690Bs, excavators, and also I'd like to print my equipment. That way, for anybody that does farm toy displays, they could have a chance to have a piece of my equipment working on their farm toy display. And how cool would that be? You know, as the channel grows, a lot more people are going to know the equipment from the channel, and be down at like a toy show or something, and be like, oh, look at there, there's a 200 excavator. That's dirt grain steels. Wouldn't that be cool? I think it'd be really cool. So that is my goal eventually. We'll see what happens. I got a lot to learn about that printer before that can happen. I need somebody to help me with designing stuff. So that's all stuff that's coming in the future. Can't do it all at once, but I'm going to try. So we'll see what happens. So thank you, everybody. Good night. I'm leaving this time. I'm shutting her down. So good evening. Thanks for watching.